Greetings and welcome back everyone. If you like these daily crypto analysis videos, hit the like button and subscribe. Please share these videos with your friends to help the channel grow. I'm Crypto Snake, back again to discuss some Bitcoin analysis. But before I get on with the technical analysis, let's go to a brief intermission to explain what exactly happened yesterday.
Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
And if you didn't quite understand that, we pulled some savage gains in the VIP while everyone was calling for the moon. Twitter was absolutely exploding with bullish sentiment, but we nailed it in the VIP to call a short from that position. After side trending for almost 2 weeks, we had a massive breakout, which I did call out in the previous video, and I actually laid out exactly what was going to happen, and we absolutely nailed it down to the trend line. And I do hope that you profited savagely off of it if you listened to my advice. If not, there's always the next trade. Such a massive dump actually does cause a bit of a mixed bag on technical indicators, but so far we do actually have a bearish indication up here on the SAR, and the RSI has not quite struck the bottom of this pennant formation that I laid out on the RSI. However, it is also heavily oversold from where it should be down at 38, but it still hasn't completed the RSI cycle. So that's kind of a neutral indication right there, leaning towards slightly bullish. Take a look back in the price, the Chiku span, this green line is actually back in bearish territory right now, which is not good for Bitcoin. And it does look to have struck a little bit of support around the 62-63 level. What is important to note short term, as I'm leaning slightly bullish short term right now, is that the daily Kijinsen has actually started to plateau. Even though we are posting 2 bearish dots here, this is not the first time that we've posted bearish dots and still continue to side trend when we're this separated from the price. So I am expecting this to side trend here. We may have actually built and found some support at the 62-67 level, and we may continue bullish from here without an actual test of this bottom pennant, as we did wick down to it, and that may have been enough. So for the moment, I am expecting a pullback to the 63.40 level on Coinbase at least. But let's go down to the 4-hour chart, where we get a little closer look at this. The 4-hour chart has also begun plateauing and also has bearish SAR indications. Now what's important to note on the 4 hours is that the Chiku span is also uptrending after striking that 62.45 level and is moving in a bullish direction, but it is in bearish territory. So I am expecting another strike up to this 4-hour Kijinsen at least around the 63.12 level. And if we take a look at the Heiken Ashi, you can see that we are still losing money out of the market, but it is also starting to slow. We go down to the 1-hour chart. You can see that money is actually starting to flow a little bit back into the market right now. We are coming up to test this bearish SAR dot. And if we post a bullish SAR dot on the hourly, I would expect this to uptrend up to that 4-hour price target and that daily price target that I set out. So overall right now I am short-term bullish and long-term bullish as well, but there's a slight chance of a breakdown looming. So I am keeping an eye on the indicators for the moment and trading accordingly. But for the moment, I am expecting a price jump back to 63.12 on Coinbase, and on the daily chart, somewhere between 63.12 and 63.40. Now, before I get on with the rest of my technical analysis and the news, if you'd like to join my free Telegram for insights on the market, including Bitcoins, altcoins, and a sneak peek to my personal entries and exits, join t.me/cryptosnakebit. Links directly to the chat and a link on how to install Telegram, which is a free chat program I use to communicate with my VIPs, in the description below. I've also launched my official Twitter, so follow me at CryptoSnakeVIP to get regular updates. And we've been pulling some savage gains in the VIP on leverage trades and altcoins, pulling 60% gains yesterday on this massive drop. And I've given out a list of potentially discount altcoins I plan to ride for the bull run to my VIPs, which we are scooping up right now, as well as some hot altcoin swing positions every week. If you want information on how to get into the VIP group to be part of these trades, the information is also in the description below. So taking a look at the Bitcoin longs, we actually had a long squeeze, which broke us down back to this daily Kijinsen level, and has started to uptrend slightly. It would appear that the long squeeze has mostly exhausted itself. We did not complete the 4-hour RSI cycle, which is why I believe that there is a potential chance that we could continue down on Bitcoin down to test that 6,200, is because we are still only at 43. After tapping up at the 83 level, we broke down on the RSI to the 44, but we never actually came down to test the 30 or even broke through the 30, which normally happens when we have a long squeeze like this. We'll come down from the peak, breaking down into the 30 RSI. Obviously, there are some examples where we do break down to around this 44 level and then continue back down again after having a slight break. Other times we do uptrend from there before continuing sideways and then break down again. Now obviously none of this is set in stone. I'm just laying out that there is a slight possibility. I give it about a 35% chance that it is actually going to break down further with Bitcoin, and we're going to get a further long squeeze from this position. But for the moment, we are heavily separated from the 4-hour Kijun-sen, and the Chiku span is currently within the price, so this may just end up into a side trend before we move into another uptrend again on the longs. Now as for shorts, which I laid out in the previous video, the double whammy for this trade was the break back up of the price for another Bart-Simpson formation. Taking a look on the daily, we held this support and we broke back up, but the daily Kijun-sen is descending, which is bullish for Bitcoin right now. If we have a short squeeze, and again, shorts are the measurement of people betting against the market or betting on leverage that the price will go down. If we have a short squeeze, the price will rapidly increase. So right now we are somewhere in the middle zone of the RSI level on the daily. We stopped around the 41 when we found support previously. Moving down to the 4-hour, we are a little bit overextended on the shorts. I'm expecting a bit of a pullback to the equilibrium for a slight price jump on Bitcoin, which would correlate to the price targets I set out. Right now we are currently on RSI support of 61, and we're not really due for a massive short squeeze, so I'm not expecting this to move down heavily from here on the shorts. We would have to break out up into the 84 or so level on the RSI, and I will give an indication out on that if I see it occurring. Now as for the market health, we are at $203 billion for the crypto space. And on Bitcoin dominance, we broke out of this absolutely exhausting trend of staying within the 53.7% Bitcoin dominance range. We broke up to 54%. Some people liquidated their altcoin positions and swapped into Bitcoin, very likely to pull back into Tether. And speaking of Tether, we have some Tether news today. There is a race on to actually replace Tether. Now, there's a whole lot of FUD around Tether that I've covered in previous videos, that Tether is not one-to-one backed with the US dollar, and it causes a lot of people to be very, very concerned. Personally, I don't think there's a way to even be backed one-by-one with the US dollar, but I do think that they try to keep it as close as they can. However, there is a lot of market manipulation that comes out of Tether where they print money and throw it into Bitcoin to spike the Bitcoin price. It's happened a lot over the past year. Now taking a look at this market cap chart, it's the other options for stablecoins of Tether, and if the panic is heavy enough, we may actually see Tether disappear from the market entirely. As you can see, over the last 2 weeks, we've started to see volume declining on Tether very heavily and people actually switching into these other stable coins. Now I can't predict which stablecoin would be the one to beat out Tether, but it does look like TUSD is actually in the lead right now. I do expect these to kind of equalize after a while and the Tether FUD to disappear. I don't expect Tether to absolutely disappear from the market, but it is a possibility. This is just an interesting article over on CoinDesk if you'd like to read it. It's called The Race to Replace Tether in 3 Charts. So again, just a recap on Bitcoin, I do believe we are going to see a bit of a price resurgence up to the 63.14 level and the 63.41 give or take level on Coinbase. And as I laid out in the previous video, we would break down, possibly side trend around here. It looks like we found some support around this level, so we might side trend from here, break up, and potentially break out of this pennant position for the bull run. Now, the reason I believe that we are going to break out with a lot of force here is we are coiling within this range on the RSI on the daily. We are very, very low on this and very, very oversold for Bitcoin's value on the daily chart, leaving us a lot of room to grow. So I am very bullish for the rest of the year, especially going into October, November, and December. So that's it for today's technical analysis. If you do make any trades today, I wish you luck. Please join me in my free Telegram at t.me/cryptosnakepit, where I give up-to-the-minute updates on Bitcoin and my personal exits and entries for the private VIP group. Also included is our private VIP chat, where you can chat with many of our experienced savage traders, get personal technical analysis from me, and answer any questions you might have. This is Crypto Snake, signing off.